Welcome to the Breakthrough RE Elite Agent Spotlight, where we speak with some of the best and brightest in the real estate industry to help inspire, elevate, and innovate your real estate business. I'm your host, Kole Finley, principal owner of Finley RE Coaching and Consulting. All right, let's get to it. Recently, I had the privilege of sitting down with Rosie Rourke. Rosie is an extraordinary agent from the Seattle area, and she runs the Rosie Rourke Team. She's actually in the top 1% of producers in the entire country in real estate. As a matter of fact, her team closed $90 million in volume in 2023 with 131 closed transactions and 2.5 million in GCI. So she and I sat down and we talked about her absolute passion and how she's built her business, and it's all about farming. So she's going to be walking us through exactly how she has done that. So without further ado, here's Rosie. Oh my gosh, Rosie Rourke, how are you today, my friend? How are you doing?
So good. So happy to be here.
I am so happy you're here. Oh my gosh. It's like, so you guys may not know this, and I'm going to share this real quick story. When I first got into real estate in my area, so at the time I lived in the Seattle area, and in my area, everywhere I looked, I saw Rosie Rourke signs. And when I got into real estate, I thought, I want to be just like her. And I didn't start off in an office that she was in, but I actually moved to an office that you were at. And I remember the first time I saw you, I was starstruck.
Stop it. Stop it.
I totally was. Because someone, I think Linda, who was the office manager there, she introduced us. And because you
No,
were just kind of walking through, and then you shook my hand and went,
no,
Rosie, oh my God.
no.
And I'm not like that. No, normally
Oh,
starstruck, but it was so fun. So I'm just tickled pink that you're here now. You
Now
know,
that you know me, that's hysterical, right?
oh, it's even better now. Just because, I've had such a wonderful privilege of being able to, even then, I mean, you were already a big agent, but watching you grow this empire of
It's been
yours.
fun. It's been a ride. Yeah.
It's been incredible. Wow, wow, wow. I love it. I love it. Well, get to talk today about something that I think you're just so brilliant at, which is really client attraction,
Mhm.
client acquisition, and then client engagement. It's kind of your magic sauce.
My jam.
It's your jam. It's your jam. So let's talk about that today. But maybe before we get into that, because I want people to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go ahead, and if you could take us on, let's go on a little history lesson, a little bit about Ms. Rosie Rourke. Take
Mhm.
us back before real estate. What were you doing? What was life like? Yeah, just paint the picture for us.
Well, it's been a while because I'm getting older, Cole. It's been 20, this is my 29th year in the business.
Wow, amazing.
So I was in commercial real estate for 10 years prior to residential real estate.
Mhm.
And uh, I would always hear people say, oh, well, you had a leg up because you already knew the industry. No, so wrong. It is the complete opposite. We do not have paths that cross from residential to commercial.
Yeah.
And I was not an agent earning a commission. I was in the admin side where I would help support the agents to go on their appointments and help the owner of the CEO of the company and keep them organized.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 10 years. I loved it. I did. But what I was missing was working with families versus working with companies.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the warm and fuzzies. I wanted to help families achieve home ownership, and I love interior design and houses and landscape and all those things. And so I decided to make that switch.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And what year was that when you decided I'm changing over?
1996.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so talk about staying power. You've really gotten that. Okay, so now you made the switch. Was
Mhm.
it difficult? Was it like, I mean, you're basically a new agent then, really?
Brand new agent. Now I have to learn all the things to where am I going to get my next lead from.
Mhm.
My husband Mike and I had just got married. We were newlyweds. We bought a brand new house together, our first home. we needed two incomes to make this work. So I remember going to different real estate companies, and I went to like three of them and said, I'm going to do this part-time. I can't leave my full-time job. And they're like, nope, we only accept full-time agents. You can't do it part-time. So I went to the fourth one and I said, yes, I'll be full-time, when I knew full well I am not going to be full-time. And so I faked it till I made it. I would work before my job. I'd work after my job. I'd work every single weekend. I was putting in the hours, and it was, I was not willing to let go of my safety blanket of, I get a paycheck, I have a 401k, I got my benefits paid.
Sure.
And we needed that second salary to be able to afford the house we just bought. So all of a sudden something just clicked in me of, I'm sitting at my real job and I'm thinking, gosh, if I was just doing residential, I can help that one client I picked up at an open house. We can go find them the house they want to buy. I can help them through that without the limitations of my hours and not being able to focus on them. And I calculated the commission I could make, and that was like a month worth of my salary. So I just decided, after doing two jobs for 4 months, I just said, I'm going to do this leap of faith and jump. It was scary, but I'm so glad I did it. It is, and so I totally understand when people say commission only. Oh my gosh, how do you do that? Well, yeah, it's definitely different, but you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, you show up when you're supposed to show up, you be responsible, take care of your clients. It's going to start to snowball, and it'll be just fine.
Oh, absolutely. The thing is that I think you've always had this heart for people, and I think it starts there. And you're like that with everybody I know. It's not just, your clients, but your people. Take me through a little bit of your philosophy on clients, because I know you've got a real special one too.
I lead with a servant heart. And I help people, and as a result, I happen to get paid. And I always say I get paid to socialize. I do.
Yeah.
Everybody I meet, whether it's at the grocery store, the dry cleaners, at a networking event, I know that I'm number one, engaging with somebody, authentically getting to know them because I truly do care about that person. And how else can I help in the community? Can I help with my PTA endeavors? Can I help with the chamber endeavors? As a result, the business comes.
I see that. So you started out, you started building your business, and was that kind of in your mind the whole time, as far as finding out, well, who can I go meet next? What can I do next? Is that where you kind of went from, or how did that grow into it?
When I was a rookie, a new real estate baby, I didn't know what I didn't know. I just knew who I was, and that I loved people, and I wanted to help people. And I kept thinking, like, first year in the business, rookie of the year, I think I did 36 deals. That's a lot, right?
Yep, it is.
I didn't know what the hell I was. Oh, can I say that? I
Of
didn't know.
course. No, you're good.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I just knew I was having a good time, and I was helping people and putting deals together, and they told their friends, and their friends told their friends.
Yep.
And a couple of years in, I had somebody who asked me to speak in front of the office and explain what is my secret sauce. And I really couldn't articulate it. I didn't understand. I'm like, I didn't know what to say, Kole. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I'm just being myself, and I didn't know what to say. Well, now in retrospect, I totally get it. I was making connections. That's what it's all about. Everybody you meet is a connection. Can I talk to them about real estate? And can I put them in my database, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I had the real privilege of, you and I kind of went on a different path after I was starstruck by you. I guess I just decided I had to stop selling real estate. But I went into the coaching and the management realm. So I ended up managing the office that I had joined with you there. It was fun. And I was the assistant manager first. It's funny because I always have to laugh, because where they put my
It
desk
was
was
ridiculous.
it was kind of in this hallway closet.
Closet. Yeah.
and and if I wanted to close my door, I actually put tape
Mhm.
across the front with a sign that said "Do not disturb."
I know. It was the most ridiculous thing. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You were in the closet and you didn't have a door and you didn't have a window, but you were right there next to me. I
Right.
could reach out and touch your hand if I wanted to across the hallway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I thought,
I learned by listening to you too.
well, and that was the mutual thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I could hear you, and at the time when we first met, it was just you and Sarah. So you had your assistant. I
Right.
think she was even part-time at the time, so it was just kind of you, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I would be helping agents, and every day I learn more about doing that. But then I hear you something, and someone came by, asked me a question, go, "Oh, Rosie said it this way, so I think I'll steal this from her." so, so I think that's where our mutual admiration society really came from. That
Right.
it really did. So now I remember that, right? And now last year, 90 million, 90 million in production.
Mhm.
We have 2.5 million in GCI and closed 131 transactions.
Yay.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just call you badass because that's amazing.
In my second worst real estate market of for my career.
And still did that amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That has got to take, I mean, you obviously, so much of it is built on who you are as a servant leader. I think that's really huge. And
You.
you've also got some serious systems
I
going on
do.
in your team, right? Mhm.
Yeah, and I have an amazing team.
Yeah. Tell us about your team a little bit.
I can't do that volume without my team.
No.
So there's nine, including me right now. And I am a little heavy on the admin side of things, but I do that on purpose because we're very heavy on the listings
Ah,
versus buyers. The
yeah.
listings take more people, time, energy to
Mhm.
get them looking great and out the door. So I have my operations manager, and she takes care of everything operational and keeping everybody on the same page, so to speak. I have my sister Joanne who does team concierge. So we do a wonderful job of listing prep, um, staging consult, paint consult, all these different wonderful things to help somebody get their house ready and set up for success. Is
Nice.
Joanne. I
Mhm.
have Caitlin, who's my listing manager, and she does everything listings. So ordering title, flyers, all the things that go into it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then I've got Stephanie, who's my fabulous, talented transaction coordinator. She does everything from contract to close. And I have Josh, who's our marketing director, and he just makes us look fabulous and creating wonderful content to get us top of mind and always trying to figure out, where can we do for lead generation and attending mastermind. So he's great. And then I've got three producers that have been
Mhm.
with me for years, and I'm proud of that. So I've got somebody who focuses on just listings, another one who focuses on just buyers,
Mhm.
and one that switch hits and does both.
Perfect. Perfect. I love it. I love it. And I love that you said that they've been with you a long time because I think your team culture
Yeah.
is really important.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. That's number one for me
Mhm.
is make sure the culture is right.
Yeah,
People leave for the person, not so much the job.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Every time. Every time. Yeah, I think and you and I've talked about this before because when I left the company we had started with, I went to a different brand,
Mhm.
and I was really, really very, very honored and blessed the fact that you just came over to that too. I don't think you were following me, but definitely you were. Yeah, we were in the same orbit again, so that made me feel wonderful when you did that.
Trusted it more because you were there.
Well, and that's a beautiful thing, right? That because it's about relationship
It's
and
about
it's about that culture and those kind of things. And I think you bring a big culture to your community
Mhm.
as well, right? And you are kind of known as and because you are the queen of farm, and there's nobody but nobody does farm better. But you have an interesting take on farm, because most people think that, oh man, I'm going to start a farm, it's going to take me 5-10 years just to get it up and running. But what's your idea on that? I think you disagree with that, right?
I do disagree with it to some degree. So a farm, as you know, is you're going to set the seeds of just listed, just sold cards, trying to get a listing, or holding it open, and sending something consistently to a manageable amount of homes in a community. And you hope that they'll be thinking of you when it's time to buy or sell.
Mhm.
Yes, that is what's happening in a farm, but I want to go deeper than that.
Mhm.
And I want to go from my love of people and contribution.
Mhm.
And so, what can I do for the chamber that serves that community? What can I do for the neighboring schools that serve that community? What
Mhm.
can I do for the businesses around that community? How can I be of service so that everybody will think of me in those terms, not about, where's my next listing and can I sell
Mhm.
your home? Take, take, take. I'd rather give, give, give.
Love that. Love that. You've actually created something, and I want us to take us through this because I absolutely love it. It's how to create a successful farm. And we do have the download that you actually created for this. So this will be in this lesson. So
Okay.
if you guys want to grab that as you're watching this, below this video, you're going to see that. But I'm just going to take us through it. So I'm going to just share my screen. And maybe here's what I think if we could do this, Rosie, we'll just kind of go through this point by point. And you
Okay.
can just kind of share that with us as far as, what does that mean? Where are we at?
Be
So
happy.
how to create a successful farm with Rosie Rourke, oh goddess Rourke. I know, I'm silly. Okay. So first of all, have a recognizable brand. Your brand should be consistent with signage, business cards, advertisements, flyers, etc.
Some people don't have a brand. I think a lot of it's been talked about where most people understand a brand is important, but I'm going to drive that home. So having your brand consistent, same color, same font, a recognizable brand of your company, your name, and that should be stamped on everything you do, your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, your postcards you sent out, your newsletters you sent out, your flyers you put out, everything should have that. So all of a sudden they recognize just at a moment's glance that it's your team, that it's you.
Absolutely. By the way, if you guys are on Facebook, check Rosie out. She's the Rosie Rourke Team. So her business page is there. You will see such consistency with her branding. It's like my branding, like I've got the purple everywhere, right? So you're green, I'm purple, we're good.
Yes.
But yeah, I totally get that. Very consistent. Everything has the same look. Love that. Okay, so how about this one? Find a community of manageable quantity of properties such as 50 plus or minus homes to start.
You want to be able to put a big hug around those 50 homes, and that's hard to do if you have more than 50. And some people want to do door knocking. Well, you can't door knock to 1,000 houses. So 50 is a really good manageable number, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now it's interesting because, okay, 20 years in,
Yeah.
how big is your farm now? Can I ask?
Oh, just a little bit. It's 8,000. But once you start with the 50 and you get yourself in your lane and you
Mm-hmm.
have systems and models, you can scale it larger. Just add
Mm-hmm.
in more quantity. And I have a method to my madness for adding it in, and we'll get to that.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's go to the next one here. How about pick a community that has a turnover of 3 years? I'd love to hear what you say about that. When you're ready to add another farm, pick a community nearby that would be a move up neighborhood with the same schools or better, nicer properties. I love that.
I think my explanation is better if I give you the example of
Okay.
what I did, and this would hopefully relay to other people. So I live in a neighborhood called Fairwood in Renton, Washington. And the one neighborhood has about 50 homes in it. And then once I felt comfortable of moving myself out of that, I moved and I got the adjacent neighborhood that goes to the same school district, goes to the same shopping centers, because that's usually what people do.
Mm-hmm.
They'll
Mm-hmm.
move into a bigger home or they're downsizing and they usually stay within the same schools or shopping where their doctors and medical services are. Everyone just kind of does that by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So let's follow that trend. But I don't want to pick a neighborhood where nobody's moving. So there's a neighborhood next to me called The Grove. Gorgeous homes on estate-sized lots. People don't move for like
Okay.
5 years. Okay, well,
Mhm.
I do want them to think of me, but that's not a good place to start for my farm. I need activity. We need houses to sell. So
Brilliant.
that's why I say 3 years maximum, and they're moving in 1 to 3 years.
Okay, so it's not the forever house neighborhood that people want to retire in, been there forever. It really has. I like it because it's a strategic approach. Love that.
You're right.
Okay.
It's the middle ground. It's the second home.
Yeah. A second home before the final home. Love that. Okay. Okay, so let's go to this next one here, Rosie. How about this? Utilizing every door direct mail EDDM from the post office to keep down cost for mail out of postcards, USPS.com, by the way. Business section and look for EDDM. Tell us about that.
Correct. So I gave the location of where to go when you search for it on the internet, USPS.com, look for EDDM, and you can explore in there. But here's what it basically is. Every door direct mail is a postcard that gets sent out by the post office. It'll be to the resident, not to their name directly, but it's a fraction of the cost if you were to send out your own mailer to them direct.
Mm.
And so now it's a less expensive way to communicate with your farm and be able to be, I think it's a good idea to send it out every month.
Absolutely.
When you're on a budget and you don't want to spend something that's 12 times a year, maybe think about every 6 weeks, but do something consistent and never fail. One of the things that I think I made a mistake on over the years is when the going got tough and I had to pull back my budget. 1 year I cut out my marketing budget. That was a big mistake because people, if you have a consistency of marketing and all of a sudden it stops for a period of time, what do they think?
That you're out of business.
Exactly. Not that you're on a tight budget. So find a way to do it, just do less of it, but be consistent.
Love that. All right, so then this next one, create a professional quality postcard ad mail out that fits with the EDDM requirement sizing. You use someone, I love Marty. His name is Marty with Umbrella Graphics. All you have to look up is umbrellagraphics.com, by the way, if you want to check out Marty. But you use Marty. You've been using him for a few years now, right?
For years. So what I loved about Marty or any service, this is one example, get to know what's out there and feel comfortable with whom you choose. But what I loved about it is I don't have time to think about it. I'm not a marketing person. I'm a real estate agent, but I understand I need to have leverage to find the right people to get the resources done. He already has the message done in a professional manner. So I could just go to the website, pick what I want. That's the one I want. Let's go. So I'm taking the guesswork and the time out of it.
Perfect. Leverage, leverage, leverage.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How about this one? Send mail out one time every month, just like you said before. Post on social media sites weekly, Facebook, Instagram, X, Pinterest, Google, etc. Create a landing page for your website to coincide with the postcard campaign so that you can track numbers. Love that. Send out a message that is specific to that community. Love that as well. Market stats are always keepers because owners want to know what their house is worth.
That's right. So this is the layering effect of your marketing. You want to have the recognizable brand. You want to engage with people in that neighborhood. You want to have a consistent mail out that goes out. Now let's layer it one more time and bring it home. Let's put it all together. We're going to have the message that you have from the postcard. You're going to have that same message, graphics and everything. Put it on your social media, whatever you use, including Pinterest. Pinterest is a very powerful program that brings the algorithm of your Google presence up to the top of the page. So don't forget about them.
Love it.
But everything you do that month, you're going to follow it through on all your social platforms that you do. And if you have a website, and I highly recommend you have a website, you can create a landing page on your website that will be, for example, let's say it's the message about my recycle shredding event.
Mm-hmm.
So the postcard goes out about the recycle shredding event. I could go door knocking on everybody's house and, talk to them about the recycle shredding event. We could be talking to people in the neighborhood about the recycle shredding event, and let's now put it on social media about it. And the next thing we will do is create that landing page. So it would say rosierourke.com/recycle shredding event. And you're giving that website link with the landing page on all your posts and your postcards and when you talk to people. Then they can go there and it has the landing page about it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got consistency and saturation across the board on all media types. We send out an e-newsletter. We send out paper newsletter. So it's all the same message.
And I love the word saturation, because that's really what you're doing. It is, and I think I've heard marketing people say this. It takes 7 different times of touching someone in different ways for them to get the message.
All right.
Yeah. And that's kind of really what you're doing. Yeah.
7's a lucky number. Now let's also talk about the message. I have a pet peeve. When people farm, my pet peeve is don't just go into spring has sprung. Let's plant the bulbs. Those are the
Oh, I'm right with you. Oh my gosh.
recycle. Come on, give me something interesting about real estate, change my world, impact me. So I always pay attention to the marketing that the messaging we're doing. And I'm not going to do the messaging that would be on a national basis. What's happening in my own backyard for that farm? What are they dealing with right now? What do I keep hearing on the streets? Let's address that.
That's fantastic. And because you are so involved in the community, you hear it, you know it. So the messaging goes out there. It is hyper specific. It's one of the things I always teach my clients, is the fact that if you're going to be out there, what is different? What do you know? How can you bring value with everything you're doing? Because if I see, and these are the things I see all the time, I see agents posting the same thing that they got off some
Yes.
website. It's always the statistics or whatever, but it's just like everybody else, and it's national because it's not local. You're right. Or it's the here's what you do for spring cleaning, or here's what you do. Okay, I get it. Maybe you have a small blurb in your newsletter on that, but that's not your marketing piece.
That's exactly right. I know what you mean. Several lenders email me. I don't even know who the lenders are. They email me, but it's the same message from the other lender and the other lender, and they got it from a national marketing campaign. It's not thinking about what's going to help serve your farm. That's what I want to get across, is what do they want to know? What do they want to hear? Be in tune to what they're talking about.
All right, so let's go over to here. What about this one, Rosie? Send out just listed and just sold in addition to your EDDM mailers.
Yep, the EDDM mailers are your message that you send out once a month or once every 6 weeks, whatever you decide. But in the meantime, you're layering it one more time. Did you list something in that farm? Woohoo, let's talk about it. Let's do the just listed. What the heck? Do it just pending and do it just sold.
Absolutely.
One more layering effect that drives the message home that you are the go-to realtor in that community.
And this is where it started with me being starstruck by you, because that's even then, before you had your really big team, you were still doing that. That's the stuff that I was getting. So it was so exciting to see all your signs everywhere. Same branding, same all that. Then going into some of the things that you were sending out. So you're absolutely right. And it really just made you the professional, because we kept seeing those things, and you're active and you're doing it. That's exactly what we want to do. So when you talk branding, that's marketing and branding at its highest, for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so consider a volunteer action or actions with the schools that serve the community. The school PTSA often needs donations, volunteers, or creative ideas to bring money towards their fundraising efforts. School auction, back to school carnival, etc.
One of my favorite things to do. I had moved into the neighborhood right when my firstborn, Jordan, was just a year old. And so he wasn't school age yet. But I was, doing real estate and doing what I could. But once I got him into school, then my farm really took off
Mm.
because the elementary school, I decided when he was in kindergarten, I raised my hand to volunteer. I said, I want to be part of the PTA. And then when I got onto the PTA, I wanted to contribute and help and support. So I'd sign up to help for the back to school carnival. I'd sign up to help for the auction. I donated to the auction. And then to the point where it got bigger and bigger as my years went on with Jordan, and then my next son, Tony, went through the elementary school. I was the president of the PTA. I was the chairperson of the auction and all the other committees. So the people that you meet, the lives that you impact, and the servant heart that you have, all those things were just wonderful to me, and it all came together in a big smushy little lovely, lovely circle. And I really feel like that's when my farm took off.
Mm.
They knew me. They were happy with what I did to help support. I helped with their children and made their days more special. So who
Yeah.
are they going to think of when it's time for real estate?
There it is. There it is. Well, and it's the age-old advice is people will do business with people they know, they like, and they trust.
That's right.
There you go. Which you are the master of, my friend. Absolutely. Okay, how about this? Check Zillow for sale by owner properties in your farm and approach all for sale by owners in your farm.
Okay, this is not as popular as it used to be way back when, but it's still relevant. So if you pick up your phone and if you have Zillow app on your phone, go to your Zillow app, put in your zip code of your farm. For my example, it's 98058. When you get to that point, you can filter, and there's a choice of looking at homes for sale by agent, and there's another one you toggle over for sale by owner.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not, but they do come up. And when they come up, Zillow's going to alert me because I made that, saved that search for sale by owner in my zip code. And every day goes by, if one gets into that search engine, I get notified right away. And I'm going to call them and say, I would love to know more about your home. May I come in and see it? And hopefully I can either find a buyer for them or convert them to list with me.
Right. And so it's still a servant heart that when you're calling even them, you're not going after to get the listing. That would be a nice perk, but you're going out there to meet with them, perhaps bring a buyer. So you're really interested in that person. That's what I'm hearing, right?
I am very interested in that person because I'm interested in my clients. My clients are looking for inventory. And if they don't know about the one on for sale by owner, I want to know for them so I can create more value and bring attention to the for sale by owner property. And it's going to be in my farm. And so when I'm talking to the person who has the for sale by owner, I'm going to let them know I am a go-to person in this neighborhood. I live here, I play here, and I'm paying attention to this neighborhood specifically, and I may find a buyer faster than you might. Is that okay with you?
Perfect. You know what? I think so many people get afraid of for sale by owners because they approach it as this salesy thing, but you really are coming from it for the rest of your clients and understanding the market and knowing everything that's for sale in that area. Yeah, I love that. Love that process, Rosie. Love, love, love it. All right, let's go to this one. Create an auto search in the MLS for your farm. Preview the new listings with the search criteria for actives, pendings, canceled, expired, and sale fail release.
May I say no more? That makes total sense, doesn't it?
It does.
So
It makes total sense.
in the MLS, create the auto search for your,
Mhm.
my case, 98058 zip code, and check the boxes for all of those statuses.
Mhm.
And I want to know what came new on the market. I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to have my business card in the home when I check it out. And there I am again, layering it up.
Yeah.
There's that name again. There's that brand again. So if maybe they're not happy with their agent and they decide not to use the agent any longer, I'm hoping they'll remember I came through their house, I've seen it, they have seen my marketing, and maybe they'll consider me when it's time.
Mhm.
That's one thing. Plus, I want to know the inventory
Sure.
of my farm. When it goes pending, I'm interested. How many days on market did that take? I'm keeping track of the market stats for my farm. When it goes sold, what do they sell for? For more, the same, for less? Okay, another little market stat in my head that I can speak from experience. And even better, if it expired, canceled, or sale fail release, I'm going to know immediately. And hopefully I'll be quick on the draw
Mm-hmm.
to be able to give them a call and say, how about me?
Look, this is a missed opportunity. It's so amazing how often I speak with agents and I'll talk to them about how much previewing are you doing in your area? And
No,
oh, I don't,
yeah,
and I'm
website
like,
has a lot of photos. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just get online and I see that. I'm going,
Mhm.
the biggest value you bring to your client is understanding market value. And the only way to do that is if you're inside these houses and you're really inside your neighborhood and seeing people.
Well, I think especially when you're doing a market analysis,
Hmm.
you can speak from experience. It's not just judging a book by its cover on the photos, but you've actually been in it
Hmm.
and you know your inventory inside and out. Being a heavy listing agent, I can tell you I hardly have anybody making appointments to show a house because they're previewing. They're bringing in clients is what I'm hearing. So
Hmm.
I know for a fact that it's not getting done that much. You know, it is difficult if you're busy, but my idea for you specifically about a farm is do it in your farm,
Yeah.
because now you're layering it again. Your business card is in there and that client knows you actually took the time to go in and see their home.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How about this one? Create a Facebook page for the community, be actively posting in the Facebook page, be vocal and contribute as much as possible on the community social media groups, next door, buy nothing, etc.
Absolutely. So I'll give you my example again at Fairwood. They have two Facebooks for the neighborhood, one called Neighbors of Fairwood Greens. So it's not just necessarily Fairwood Greens, but the neighbors of. And there's another one for just Fairwood Greens residents.
Mm.
So I become members of those.
Hmm.
And then they have Next Door, which encompasses the area, including Fairwood Greens, the Buy Nothing group in Fairwood Greens. And then I am active. I'm active and I'm engaging in there. Most of the time, people are saying, who do you know that's a contractor? I need to get a painter. And I'm poking in there. I've got just the guy. He's been amazing for all the clients that we help get their houses ready to sell. You're going to love him. Instead of just giving the name, I'm giving context so that they know, oh, yeah, I'm a real estate agent. And based on my vendors, I recommend him. So it gives more another layering effect of here's that gal again who's a real estate agent.
Beautiful.
Um, Now, let's say you don't have a Facebook for the community. Think about starting one.
Yeah.
It's free. And you can tell the neighborhood about it and say, I created this Facebook for your community. And I thought it might be a great place to get to know your neighbors. You know, sometimes if it's, we see a bear in the backyard, like I do in my neighborhood, we want to know right away. So we can post it in there, beware and watch out for your sweet animals. And garbage day has been delayed. Is anybody else seeing any problems with the pothole in the street? Let's see if we can get a hold of some, all sorts of communication that you can give to your neighborhood to be supportive, and they might really start to engage on that. And then you're the person that administers it. So I started one in Fairwood, which you might think, why? There was already 2 other neighborhood Facebook groups for specifically Fairwood. I did one called Positively Fairwood because I noticed there was a lot of negative chatter out there. And I said, this is a Facebook group where we only help support each other, support the businesses, the families, the schools. Let's all be taking a positive spin about Fairwood. What can we do?
Wow.
So now I've got, over, I don't even know how many followers I have on that. It really took off. So I think people want more positivity in their life than negativity.
So here's what I just saw. Yes, we've got the marketing out there. We've got the look out there. There are so many times you're layering out there, but that you just layered in your culture
Yes, I
as
did.
well.
Yeah.
So, wow, I love that. And I hadn't thought about that before, Rosie. I think that's brilliant.
So I lived in a neighborhood within Fairwood, and they did not have that community page. So I started the community page for them specifically so that the neighborhood could communicate about the bears and the garbage and the whatnot, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I put on there is the CCNRs, the minutes for the last 2 years. I put forms for the Architectural Control Committee. So it's resourceful for them to go to.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm learning so much from you today. I'm just loving to get to hang out with you. This is awesome. Okay, how about this one? Create a website page for the community for no charge if you can place your ad.
Well, I got ahead of myself. I just told you what I did.
Exactly. But still.
The one thing I didn't mention is your advertising. So that one did cost money because it's a website, not a Facebook page. You could do a Facebook page for that neighborhood too, but on the website is where I had the CCNRs, the minutes, etc. And it costs, I think, $50 to $60 a year to host a website. And it's easy to manage. I hardly have to do anything to it. And I've got my advertisement on it because I paid for it.
Yeah.
So there are 2 other real estate agents that live in that neighborhood, but I get my advertising on there because I paid for that website.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. So the advertising comes there, and even in your Facebook group, though, you can still, create a guide which has the attachments of the CCNRs and all those kind of things. So I don't know if a lot of people know that when you have a Facebook group, you can still provide those resources that are there. Now, I love the fact, now let's talk layering. You have it there, but then you've got the website. So
Absolutely.
again,
Why not have both?
there, why not? And if you can advertise, there you go. People get to actually see you. Love it. Okay, host a housewarming party. I love this one, by the way. Host a housewarming party for your client and get their friends' contact info. Add them to your database and Facebook. Quite a few will most likely live in that same community.
I think that was a Brian Buffini tip that I got a long time ago.
It is. I remember that. Yeah.
It helps with my needing to make more connections, saturating my farm, and having a party.
Paid to socialize.
Yeah, paid to socialize. Here we go again. So I asked my client for their friends and family. I now collect that database information. I send out the invitation, and you can even put a cute little picture of them in front of the house with a sold sign on it if you want to. Provide them with, I've just moved address labels, set up the event at their house with providing the punch and the drinks and the appetizers, and sit back and enjoy and have a good time and make some new connections and know that you help support your client and having a housewarming party.
Beautiful.
And you collected names.
Hey, make more friends.
Little shameless plug. Yeah.
There you go. All right. This one's a big one. Be visible in the neighborhood, shopping amenities. Wear your name tag. Don't be a secret agent. I know that one. Talk while you are in line at the store, at the cleaners. Open conversations about being a realtor. Hand deliver custom calendars at holidays to the shops where your farm will be shopping. Involve the business community near your farm at your events. Engage with them throughout the year.
So at the register of the teriyaki takeout place or the Thai food place, whatever the case may be within your farm, you'll see that you can have a calendar there. They would really appreciate that. And it would be displayed there at every time, someone checks out, they're going to see your branding again. But also it's just being yourself, but can you circle the conversation around to somehow you're a real estate agent? Creatively, yes, you can do that. Not every time, but here's just one small example. You're waiting in line at the grocery store and you're at the checkout stand and there's people in front of you and people behind you. And you hear conversations. Well, I turn around and I'm that one that turns around and says, joins in on that conversation. Hey, yeah, I've heard of that new restaurant. Have you tried it yet? I've been meaning to try that. And I was thinking about getting a gift card for my clients. I sell real estate in the neighborhood. I was thinking about getting that gift card for my clients as a thank you when they buy a house from me. But I want to try that out. I'm glad that you had a good experience there. Simple as that. Just something like that.
Beautiful. Ooh, that was a master class in its own, just to how to have a conversation. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's one of the things like we practice in our coaching sessions is how do you have a conversation where you can subtly turn it into real estate and then back out. So it becomes like a Ford sandwich,
It's an art. Yeah.
It's an art. And you've mastered it just brilliantly. Okay. Utilize your MLS stats for office ranking stats if killing it in the market.
Only if killing it in the market. So if you are ranked #1 for the sales for the past year for that neighborhood farm, use it. Don't forget, you have that powerful tool. It's not just you talking about, look how much I've done, look how cool I am. It's black and white stats from the MLS.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And never be afraid of that. I've heard agents say before, well, I don't want to brag about myself.
So I actually say that in my presentations. I say, this is the hardest part, is having to tell you about myself. So I just want you to know, I don't want it to come across as bragging, but if I don't tell you, who will? I am the person that has to be my best advocate.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, you guys are getting such good nuggets here. I'm telling you, it's great stuff. All right. Your title company may be able to provide a list of email addresses for residents in your farm.
Did you know that?
I did know that, but most people don't.
Well, now you know. Ask your title rep. They might do that for you.
Absolutely. And this one, conduct seller buyer workshops.
That is free. So find a place where you can hold it, where it doesn't cost you any money. Maybe it's in your office in the conference room. And here's the tip for the seller buyer workshops. And you want to talk about that in your farm and part of your messaging and your EDDM postcards and your social media. Again, you're layering it up and you're getting that word out to attend. But here's the tip. Make it unique, make it specific. We find that we have a more attendance for a workshop if it's more specific. For example, are you ready for your next chapter? Let us help you understand how to get your house ready to move into downsizing and moving into an independent facility. We have the connections for the estate sale auction, and we list out some bullet points. Then all of a sudden, it's not a seller workshop. It's, oh yeah, my mom. Or it hits a trigger if you're specific. First-time home buyers is a common one. How about a workshop about how to be better, that's great language. How to be better at your finances. Well, if we do something on their finances and have a business partner in with us who does financial investments, it would help them to understand how to come up with the loan. So you get the idea. If you get more specific and niche, you have a better attendance.
Totally agree with that. I've got a client right now, and she is she was being very broad. She was doing a lot of first-time home buyer classes, bless their hearts, but that had just become such it wasn't paying off the way that she wanted to. And we were really looking at her ROI, and we said, look, how can we be more specific in what you want to do? And what she wanted to do is, in her particular community, she wanted to help people understanding building wealth. Great. So she found a wonderful estate planning attorney. They're putting together this event. It's in a couple of weeks, but they're putting together this event specifically for bringing this community together, and talking about building wealth. And her opportunity now is building wealth through real estate investing, building wealth through private money lending, building wealth through all the ways that you can do building money or building wealth. And she got fired up. She's going, well, I can do that.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Absolutely.
No.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Love it. Love it. Well, you've said this over and over and over again today. Consistency is key, and you get paid to socialize.
Yes, you do.
I love it. Love it. You know, when people, they look at you, Rosie, and I'm one of them, and you're this incredible leader and this incredible, like I said, you've built the Rosie Rourke empire, really. I mean, it's been so exciting to watch. But you've had some lessons that like you've learned, obviously. If you could pick your top 3 lessons learned in this incredible 29 years, what do you think they'd be?
Yeah. Yeah, I do have some that I would definitely have paid more attention to in the beginning of my career instead of at the latter part or even in the middle. I didn't run my business as a business.
Mm-hmm.
I flew by the seat of my pants. This feels fine. Let's do this. But I did not run it as a business. And when I say that, I do mean I needed a model. We are not the first ones to sell real estate. There are people that have walked before us who are rock stars. I am not shameful to rip off and duplicate.
R&D.
I needed a budget. I needed a profit and loss.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to know models of what works and what doesn't work. I want to shortcut it and go right to what works. I needed a coach, and I didn't know it. I've heard about coaches, didn't get one until 10, a little over 10 to 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the trajectory of my business just shot up. They harnessed what I was doing, gave me the systems and the models, and I could just run it off the playbook.
Love it. That's when we do, so our Elite Agent Mastery program, it really is designed to do that, because so many of the training programs out there, and I think they're amazing, they focus on lead generation. And what we really do with our clients is, yes, that's a part of it. Obviously, we're having a great conversation about that today, but it's about how do I build a business as a business? What are all the processes for that? And starting that early. And then when we pair that with coaching, you're right, that's where we see breakthroughs happen in people's business. Every time you put those 2 things together, a really great learning program with a really great supportive coaching program, and it's like there's just no stopping you at that point.
And the other thing I thought about was leverage. To me, I felt like in the olden days, leverage to me meant was really scary. That meant I was responsible for somebody. I want to pay their mortgage. Their family is counting on me to perform. And I had to have a mind shift about that. I need leverage. It wasn't that I want to have this great big team. Look at me. Look how successful I am. That's not why I built a team. I built a team because I needed a balance of life. And I knew that if I had a balance of life, I needed more leverage. I needed another listing agent. I needed another buyer's agent. I need an operations manager. I need somebody who can do marketing. That's not my lane. I want to sell houses. I don't want to figure out a Facebook account. So those are the things I needed along the way so that I could focus on my family as well as my clients, my business, and my team. And in having that, I thought, oh, that sounds so scary. I am responsible for that person and their team. But like I said, the mind shift I had was, if they are doing the work, they will always be with me. If they're not doing the work properly, I can't be responsible for them. They have to be responsible for themselves. And you have to do some tough decisions sometimes. That freed me up to think it's not all on my shoulders. If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, we're going to be doing just fine. If they're not, that's on them too. They have to take that in, and it's not going to work, and I can't support them.
I know also your team. And so I know so many times they talk about when they're, and the reason why they're with you so much, because you pour so much into them and into their development that it helps their family, it helps their lives. So again, your culture is flowing through pretty much everything you do.
It is. And I also needed my coach to help me through that because I do have a heart and sometimes that gets in the way.
Oh, sure. Sure.
I'm too nice. I'm a yes person. I'm a people pleaser. And so I need that coach to keep me in alignment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, so I want to wrap up with this because I think it's important. So let's say Rosie Rourke, you had to move to New Jersey tomorrow.
Did you,
Everything you have is a
why'd you
gold.
pick New Jersey?
It's a great state.
Okay.
I have some wonderful clients in New Jersey, so I've become
New
to
Jersey's
appreciate the beautiful.
wonderful.
It's
Wonderful.
wonderful.
I've never been there.
Okay,
But,
well, let's say
but
you had to go.
how about Palm Springs, California? How about that?
Okay, so you had
Okay.
closing
Yes.
down there in Palm Springs. Okay. How would you approach it? You have to start from scratch right now, knowing what you know. How would you start over?
Easy answer. Start in the community.
Mhm,
Do your servant heart business for them. Support them.
mhm.
Get your branding and your consistency.
Love it.
Easy, easy answer. It wins every time.
Yep. There you go. I love that. So I just want to tell you that you have had such an incredible impact on my life and
Aw.
on my business. I'll be honest with you, Rosie. I don't think there's a week goes by that I don't know at some point think about something that I learned from you in this
Oh,
business. And the cool thing is my entire company teaches those things. And me and my coaches, we teach those things. And that affects other people all over the country because of you. And so when we start thinking about your culture and who you are, that spreads everywhere.
that makes my heart really full.
You make my heart really full, and I know I'm gushing again because you're my hero. But you've taken this wonderful time with me, and I just want to say thank you so much. I know everybody who's listening to this, who is watching this with us today, I know they're getting a ton out of it, and 29 years of experience that you just poured into all of our students here. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.